And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. So, on today's episode, right before I went live, probably about 2 hours ago, I put out a community post to everybody and I said, hey, is there any video topics you guys would like to discuss? And a bunch of people wrote comments. And to be honest with you, I don't want to just choose one of the topics. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read every single comment that's on that community post. I do have the web page up, so if anybody writes comments right now at the time of recording this video, I won't be able to see them. But yeah, I think there was like 24 comments, and we'll just shoot through them all, and we'll try to read them all. So hopefully I could get this to work. You guys got to keep in mind, I am one of the very more illiterate type of YouTube content creators when it comes to actual technology. But hopefully I got this right, and hopefully you can see it above my head. But North B3R says, if you think it's still possible to find great deals on older stuff, or does everyone nowadays know what they have and its true value? I mean, that's a tough question. I think the simple answer is it's still possible. But it's definitely become harder. And I think where it's became a lot harder is sourcing like binder collection, stuff like that. Now, if anybody's grading their cards, they already know what they have. Very easy comps. I think where you'll probably still have like more be able to get things as simple as like Goodwill auctions or actually go the Goodwill or yard sale find, stuff like this. The problem is anybody who goes to those yard sales, usually the first people are there, do this stuff. I wouldn't say full time, but they at least have a good understanding of all things that are undervalued. And Pokemon is definitely one of those things that is more or less undervalued, so people know to go after it. But it's still possible to find those. I think the best way you're going to be able to find like great deals on older stuff is you're going to have to find poorly titled eBay listings. And what does poorly titled mean? It could be as simple as Pokemon lot, Pokemon bundle, Pokemon job lot, Pokemon 1999, Pokemon 1995, because a lot of this isn't all the time, but once in a while with base set, you'll see a lot of people will list base set as 1995, 1996, because when you look at the copyright date of an original WotC Hollow, those are the first two numbers that come up. So people are very like poorly titled eBay listings. That's the kind of stuff you're going to have to look for. So the next one is from Dylan Smith. Let's see if I get it in. Dylan Smith says, how do you balance the tension of investing in sealed product but also keeping cash liquid to invest in quick flips? Would love to hear examples, percentages. I have no clue. I don't even know how much like value is in my sale product, and I don't know how much value is in like raw cards, my graded cards. I'm not really sure. I could take ballparks, but percentage wise, I have no clue. And I think percentage wise is just going to, fall on the individual person to person basis, whatever you feel comfortable with. But now the question you asked, but also keeping, cash liquid. And I made a video talking about this, and I titled the video, Staying Liquid in an Illiquid Hobby. And the problem is when you get the really good deals, kind of talking about like the previous question above this, was when you see those really good buys come up, you need to be liquid in order to capitalize on those. You hate to like think the what ifs, or what if you had cash available, but how do you balance the tension? Only way I balance attention is once in a while I sell my sealed product the same way I sell my graded cards. And what that price point's going to be for everybody is going to be on them. I've talked about it, like I want to say as recently as like 2 videos ago, but one of the things I always see people talk about when I say, when do you plan to sell? They say 5 to 10 years. And I'm like, you're talking in time. Like, what percentages on this sale product do you want to make? Do you want to make double? Do you want to make triple? Do you want to make 5x? Like, people talk in time all the time. And I always find that very, very weird, because it means that they have the plan to sell this stuff, but they don't have like percentages. They don't have dollar amounts in mind. So for a lot of like sealed product and stuff, I just always find that very weird that people are like, oh no, I'm not going to sell for 5 or 10 years. It's like, okay, sure. Like, what if your product already doubled on you? What if you bought a booster box for $100 and it's already doubled on you? It's worth $200, but 5 years from now, it doubles again, or at 50%, so now it's up to $300 or $400. Was it worth it to sit on it for that extra 4 years? Because in 1 year's time, you doubled your money. And then to add that other 4 years' time, you only made another 50% to 100% on your money. Where if you were to take that money and put it into other plays, like what could you have done? That's the question, right? But how do you balance it? Is you just have to know when you feel comfortable selling. And I don't know what your number is. The same way as sometimes I don't even know what my number is. Sometimes you have to really just feel out the market. Do you think a product is undervalued? Do you think a product is overvalued? Or do you think that product is being valued correctly for the current market? If you think it's, overvalued and you think that prices might stagnate in the future, those are probably products you might want to start to liquidate. One of the things I talk about all the time is I talk about acquiring my position in Chill and Rain. Chill and Rain is one of those positions I'm actually going to start moving some of my position out of because I feel over leveraged in it, meaning I have too much of this stuff in relative to other products. Now, when I bought my Chill and Rain booster boxes and cases, and I've made videos and people hate when I cite the title of that video, but whatever. At the same time, when I was picking up Chill and Rain booster boxes at 80, I could have been picking up Evolving Skies at 95 or 100, right around that price. So percentage-wise difference, yes, the Chill and Rain booster boxes were cheaper, but if I was picking up Evolving Skies has performed way better than Chill and Rain has. Now, don't get me wrong. Chill and Rain going from $80 to $130 to $140 in a year's timeline, that is still fantastic returns. And anybody that tells you that's not good returns are just speaking out their asses and they're lying to you. But when you look in relative to another product I could have bought for a little bit more money, like I said, about $15 more in Evolving Skies booster boxes, and look at those returns, just those returns are so much better. So you kind of have to make that decision. Now, like I said, I just have too much Chill and Rain right now. I'm trying to get rid of it. This is the scary thing too, and I'm not gonna go off on too much of a tangent, but there's one guy pretty much who I sell all my sealed product to. He's a breaker, and I want him to pick up some of my Chill and Rain product at a very similar. I always sell to him a little less than market because I drive to his house, I drop off the cases. It's just is what it is. It's very much a convenience factor to me. I'm not shipping out any of this stuff. I'm not breaking down cases. I'm just handing them off cases. And I gave him a pretty good price for Chill and Rain to kind of just get, liquidate one case. And he wouldn't take it. He said he couldn't sell it. So I was like, oh boy, here we go. So now the one case that I thought I could easily liquidate through him, I'm not going to be able to. So then, now I still have my options. I could still sell it on eBay, and then if I want to try to go the case route, or if I want to go single booster box route, or if I want to try to reach out to some other people that could sell product, it's just... But yeah, it goes back to that liquidation thing. How liquid is this stuff really? Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum, Evolving Skies, for me, Evolving Skies has been extremely, extremely liquid. So, all right. Next question is from Danzard TCG. So Danzard TCG, I want to pull up. I do have your Merriam card that you are currently selling on eBay. I want to see if we could pull up what is that thing currently selling at, because I've talked about this on other lives. So he's selling the Merriam full art trainer card, not the alternative art, just the regular full art. Oh no, I missed it. Did I miss it? I thought I had it on my watch list. Oh, I don't see it. Alright. I don't see your card. When did it end? I was following another card that I missed too. I missed a couple good auctions. Alright, so I found it. Your Merriam full art card, Danzard TCG, sold for $337. You had 66 bids on that. Good for you, man. You took a $30 card. I know how much he spent. He told me he spent $75 to grade it. You took a $30 card. You expressed it at $75. You were all into that card for $105. Sure, let's just say you paid shipping and everything. So shipping, you're probably going to add another $20 to it. We're going to go high end on this. So you're into that for 125 plus you're going to spend $5 to ship it through eBay, and then you're still going to pay 13%. You did very well on a $30 card. You sold a $30 card, you spent $75 a grade, and you sold it for $337. Danzar TCG, good for you. But those are one of those cards. That is not an investment. That is a card that only has one direction for prices to go, down. The only problem is supply for that card graded as of right now, because returns just haven't made it back to people, are just not there. That is one of those things in this hobby. When people are like, how can you make like the quick money? How can you do the quick turn and burn? Plays like that, first to market. This is the thing. And this is what like excites me. This is what I really enjoy in this hobby, is that race to the bottom. And Danzar TCG did the race to the bottom. I promise you. The only reason you grade a $30 card at $75 is because you plan to do the race to the bottom. Now, this is the thing. Those wins, when you hit them, man, they feel so good. But this is the thing I don't understand today. I didn't understand yesterday. I didn't understand a month ago or a year ago. And I probably won't understand tomorrow or in the future. I will never know who the people are who's buying that card. I will never know that. Never. I hope to one day maybe meet that person, but I've never met that person. It is just insane to think that there are people out there who are just constantly doing that buy over and over and allows it to be successful. All right, next one. Oh, but sorry, I didn't even answer your question. I was talking about your play. He said, what type of card would you still send at the $19 bulk rate? Simple. Any card that's worth it. Any card that you think... So this is the funny thing. $19 bulk rates right now, there can be a lot of plays potentially on Scarlet and Violet. Miriam Full Art, again, still. Alternative art Miriam. You spend the $19 because $19 bulk changes a lot of people's grading. There might be a lot of people that because bulk is at 19 and not 15, they might just be sitting back on some of these cards because they weren't first to market. Now, even when these $19 bulk comes back in a month or two, that Miriam Full Art and that Miriam Full Art alternative card and that, cards like that, there's still going to be probably a little bit of price left on that bone because there will still be a race to the bottom that hasn't truly happened yet because of that $15 grade and, difference. Now, all that could potentially do is just more or less extend the race to the bottom, extend the lifeline of it, or how long it's going to take. But yeah, there's still some cards, and then the obvious examples. Anything you have that, is, vintage stuff that's probably should have already been graded in the past. High dollar amounts. Anything that you think you probably would have got upcharged on anyways, send at the $19 bulk rate. Can't really go wrong. All right. Think Forward says, you should do a mini segment where you give your opinions on what you choose at various price points. $200 a Neo Unlimited pack of Japanese booster box, $500 Raw Moonbrown or some vintage card, etc., all the way to sealed base set booster box or case of each modern booster box. So Think Forward, I've done a video kind of like this. I think the thing I titled the video was Buy, Sell, or Hold. And in that video, I made a PowerPoint slide with I think it was like greater than 20 different items. And I talked about whether I was buying that item, selling that item, or holding that item. And I was just talking about like the fundamentals of each item. And yeah, you can look up that video and you'll get a lot of my thought process to kind of answer some of that question. All right. John said, thoughts on Japanese Worlds promos? Absolutely stonking, but the stamped ones, example, top 32 semifinalists, haven't done shit. I wouldn't say they haven't done shit. I mean, Japanese promos are doing well. All trophy cards are really kind of doing well, especially Worlds promos are doing really well. I look at like 2022 London Worlds promos. You look at what those cards are selling for in relative to some older Worlds promos, and it's like they're doing pretty good. I think it's just maybe a changing of the market or that newer thing, or I don't really know. But top 32, there's just more of those out there. So that could just be a supply versus demand issue. top 32. It's not, I mean, it's still higher end, but it's not the highest end. And even when it comes to Worlds promos, when it comes to, higher end trophy cards, stuff like that, the problem is while they might not seem very niche now, they are still in a way very niche. And for people to want to spend that extra couple $100 on a card can be a huge barrier for a lot of people, especially when you look at the cards and they're still half art cards, they're not full art cards. And yes, unless you're talking like the number 1, number 2, number 3 Pikas or something like that. So it's still too nichey, I think, for some people. But yeah, that's my answer for that. All right, next question from M. Reedon 810. He says, how the source raw minty cards that are not exactly modern, but not super vintage, say 6 to 12 years old. I've been struggling hard with this. My best suggestion to you would be like just watching eBay. Watch eBay like a hawk. Start to get notifications, for those key search terms, the cards you're looking for, and just start to, items newly listed, items ending soonest, and just keep doing that grind. That's not really a secret. It's always been the way. Nothing's really changed, and it's just a matter of getting lucky. But that's going to be your best bet. I mean, you can go like TCG player route and stuff like this. Very tough to get like truly near mint cards. You can always get lucky, but you'll probably be more unlucky before you get lucky. And then your other option is to like just go to events in person, whether it's Galacticon, places where you can actually go in person, hold that card in your hand, and truly look at condition. Pokemon Cave says, we all know you love CGC. What are your thoughts on them grading square cut cards from somebody who cut up a factory uncut sheet professionally? Big deal or no? Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I think there are people out there who it will matter to. There are people out there that it won't matter to. The people that it doesn't matter to, I feel very nervous for that person. And, there's people out there with huge uncut sheet collections. Person that probably comes to everybody's thought right away, who probably has the largest uncut sheet collection in the world, is Rusty, TCA Gaming. You look at Rusty, you look at how much did he spend on his first edition uncut sheet. I think he has a crazy story. I think he like put his max bid in at $250,000. He like went to bed, didn't even check on the auction, like woke up and was like, oh, I won a $250,000 item. But you think about his first edition uncut sheet. That uncut sheet has multiple first edition Charizards on it. Obviously, it has multiple of all 15 of the holos. The only holo that it's not going to have on is the Machamp from the 2-player starter deck. Otherwise, it would have had 16 or all 16 holos. But he has multiple Charizards, multiple Blastoids, multiple Venusaurs. He spent $250,000 on that sheet. Now, assuming he could cut that professionally, assuming he could get the centering very well done. So let's just say assuming, because it's professionally done, he could get the centering to like a 10 qualifier, which, I mean, I think that's very possible, because whoever's cutting that sheet would take their time to cut it. It wouldn't be like this mass-produced stuff coming out of the Wizard of the Coast factories being cut on huge cutters with dull blades and everything. We're just going to say centering is a 10. Edges are a 10 because they're cutting it with a good blade. Now, corners should be a 10 because if they're, square cut corners, perfectly cut. So that means centering should be an automatic 10. Corners, automatic 10. Edges, automatic 10. The only issue that like a sheet like that would potentially run into would be that surface grade. I don't know how like the surface on these cards are, because that's when you run into just how that sheet was handled. Print lines, things that are like kind of taken out of your like comfort zone or things that you're in control of. You can't control how that sheet was handled previously. But still, with all that said, if you were to cut up that sheet and CGC were to grade it, and there's a lot of dumb buyers out there, and especially on some of the super, super high-end stuff, we've seen some of the dumb buyers that buy a lot of this like WotC 10 stuff, especially when this stuff was super overvalued. If they see like square cut PSA 10s for first edition cards, that uncut sheet could in theory be worth millions. Like, what does a first edition PSA 10 Charizard sell for? like $200,000 plus. I think there's like 4 or 5 on there. That's $1 million just in Charizards alone that she has. That is a scary thought. That's why companies should not be grading cards like that, because they give legitimacy to cards that's just, I hope I'm making sense. Like, that's just not, that shouldn't be a possibility. Shouldn't be able to spend $250,000 on an uncut sheet and turn it into $1 million plus, assuming you get 10. And again, that's centering, or not centering, surface is going to be your issue on cards like that. But it's a scary thought. I hate the thought of that. So I don't like it. I don't like that CGC is doing it at all. And CGC is just a bad company, so what are you going to do? PokeSun TCG said the autograph market. The problem with the autograph market is there's a lot of autographs out there. The people that have a lot of autographs have a lot. And I think the problem is there's just not enough people out there truly realize how many of these autographs actually exist for some of these people. Cheeks Galore says, here's a question. Why the fuck are you not uploading the Spotify? What the fuck? Laugh my ass off. I don't know why. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard. I guess that's something I could look into. I've been thinking about it, but I don't know. Do I want to like take viewers away from YouTube when I'm still trying to build up my YouTube channel to build a Spotify? I guess. Like, I could try it, or at least look into it. That should be the thing I should say. Look into it. We got Yugi Boy UK says, how hard will you go on the Disney Lorcana, the potential of it rivaling Pokemon and other key TCGs? Also, whether you think they do first edition unlimited prints. So, I'll try to find that. I was on somebody's live about a year ago talking about Disney Lorcana, telling everybody exactly what I was going to do with my Disney Lorcana plays. Now, to say the potential of it rivaling Pokemon and other key TCGs, I don't know about rivaling Pokemon. I mean, you're talking about a set that hasn't officially been released yet, and then start to talk about that rivaling Pokemon. That was the same way I heard people talk about Metazoo and saying Metazoo was going to rival Pokemon. Pokemon is king. Pokemon is doing its own thing. That does not mean that Lorcana isn't going to stonk out and people aren't going to go crazy, and doesn't mean that Lorcana won't have, like, potentially, a good future ahead of it, assuming there is a demand, assuming the sets come out and, Disney's able to keep it fresh and stuff. But now, rivaling Pokemon, I just can't go that far. Also, whether I think there will be first edition unlimited print runs, that I'm not sure. Right now for first edition, all those early prize cards that Lorcana has, maybe you could consider those more like first edition cards. But to my understanding, there isn't going to be separate print runs of it. Or I shouldn't say print runs, but like first edition versus unlimited. Not to my knowledge. I could be wrong, though. Somebody's just seconding another person's comment. King Money says, if anyone could pick 10 modern cards that will reach 10K in 10 years, you're the guy. 10 modern cards that could reach 10K. Battle Fiesta Pikachu, number 279. That's one. Team Rocket's briefcase, Giovanni and Persian. Team Rocket briefcase, here comes Team Rocket. That's 3. Maybe, like, the Jolteon, Flareon, Vaporeon, VMAX, Japanese, the same ones we got out of, like, our premium collection box, the same ones, but, like, the Japanese versions of those, maybe. Mario, Luigi, and Pikachu full arts, maybe. That's 8. $10,000 is a lot of money in 10 years. That means I need 2 more cards that could potentially reach 10,000. What was it? The Lowland Friends Master Battle case. What the hell was that called? Master Battle. I think that was the name of it. Whatever. The Japanese Alolan Friend cards, maybe 9, and then that means 1 more. So for my 10, I'd have to pick like a really cheaper modern 10 and like hope it stonks out. $10,000 in 10 years though. That's a big dollar amount. So for my 10th card, I would probably say like, this is a stretch, but like maybe Poncho Pikachu, Charizard, like the Mega Y one, like that's like a $2,000 to $3,000 card right now today. So for that card to go up to 10K in 10 years, that's a stretch. But maybe that would be like, out of all the Pancha Pikachus, probably the one that's going to go the hardest, even though it's my personally, like, not my favorite of all the artworks. I like the Rayquaza artwork. I think the background on those Pancha Pikachus are much cooler. I like how it's more of like a Shining Rayquaza type artwork. But again, people like Charizard, so Pancha Pikachu, Charizard, Mega, maybe? That's a tough question, 10 cards in 10 years. But those would be my 10 cards. And ironically, like, none of them were English cards. They were all Japanese. So, it says what it is. Next question you asked. This is easy. 10 modern cards you think will be over 5K in 10 years. That same exact list I gave you for 10K, I'm also going to use that same list of 10 cards for 5 years. Those will also be over 5K probably, assuming something crazy doesn't happen. Pokedama says, the state of my father's decline in physical and mental health due to dementia or like waifu cards or something. I'm hoping this is a joke question. Pokedama, appreciate you though. I hope your father's doing fine. Let's see. Current state of Metazoo. Dollar packs. That's the current state. I think it's pretty funny when you hear about Metazoo and you hear about, like, you remember map pricing? How everybody and their mother was looking at map pricing and saying, listen, anybody who gets this product through, like the proper means and is selling it correctly are just getting absolutely shafted, because a lot of people who were still getting product should have been under that map price and were just fire sailing this booster boxes. I think Metazoo is really trying to like hold on to people to keep selling their product, specialized promos for people and stuff like that. I don't know, Metazoo's not looking great. Dollar Metazoo packs, that's not great. I mean, it's happened in Pokemon. There's been dollar Pokemon packs, but right now we're still in a hot TCG market. The market is hot. You look at Pokemon. You look at Dragon Ball. You look at One Piece. Look at what One Piece is doing right now. One Piece is going freaking nuts right now. Metazoo, at this time, should still be stocking out like crazy, and it's just kind of like dried up a little bit. You look at things like, what's the best indicator for Metazoo? It's maybe not the best indicator, but what's a really strong indicator for Metazoo is the Kickstarter booster boxes. Kickstarter booster boxes had a print run of like 25,000. At a high, they were selling for like between 9 to 12K per booster box. And now what are, Metazoo Kickstarter booster boxes selling for? Like 2Gs, right around there. So for a booster box of ideally like the most expensive, most sought after sealed product, excluding like trophy cards or one-off, sample pack stuff like this, like the Kickstarter booster box should be how you gauge that market, and you got to gauge that as going from between 9 to 12,000 down to $2,000. That's not a good look. I wouldn't feel great about Metazoo if I was heavily invested in it. David Medina says, would grading be tax deductible? Yes, grading is tax deductible. What is tax deductible for selling modern Pokemon cards on eBay and other marketplaces? I know packing and shipping materials would be, but would just buying Pokemon products in general be deductible as well? Thoughts? I think that would be a good topic. So, David, we're running into, like, at the time of recording this video is April 15th, 2023. So this is like tax day. And for a lot of these questions, it would be a really good recommendation for you to just reach out to like a tax professional and ask them all these questions. And usually tax professionals right before April 15th are super, super busy. But like come October timeline, come November timeline, maybe not November, but like September, October timeline, a lot of these tax professionals have a lot of available time. So that's like that really good time for you to ask some of these questions and really get yourself prepared for tax, or like filing this year's taxes next year, and setting up whether you want to go LLC, maybe you want to go like corporation or whatever you want to do, like whatever works best for you. But now's the time. Cardboard investments. Oh no. This is the part where I didn't really think this through. He said, "What's up with the beef going on between Pokeytubers lately? Healthy or not for community watching?" Good question. I would say Pokeytuber beefs can be extremely, extremely healthy for this hobby. Now, the reason why Pokeytuber beefs can be extremely healthy for this hobby is things I've mentioned before in this hobby. While this hobby seems to be old, 25 years old, like go from 99 base set, and we just had our 25th anniversary, the celebration set and everything. This hobby might, from the outside looking in, seem like a well-established hobby, going on for 25 years. But in reality, this hobby is still a very new, emerging hobby, meaning this hobby has a lot of room to growth, in my opinion. And a lot of that reason is because the people re-entering into the hobby, and those people re-entering into the hobby now have money, where the people who left this hobby in 99, 2000, 2001, whenever their timeline was, it's because they just grew up. They grew out of Pokemon, where now they're back into Pokemon, and it's a very different mindset for a lot of people. So because this is still an emergent hobby. This hobby is extremely, extremely easy to manipulate. You can manipulate a lot of things, and it doesn't take much to manipulate prices, sealed product, whatever. And the problem is because it doesn't take much to manipulate this market, and not only is it easy to manipulate this market, it is very easy to scam people in this hobby. We've seen it. We've seen it on the highest of ends with, fake sealed cases of first edition booster boxes. And the thing is with Pokeytubers beefs, it's very important that you have people to hold other people accountable. You look at that, fake case of first edition base booster boxes, Rattle held a lot of people accountable. And because of Rattle, Logan Paul ended up hearing about his video, opening up that case and finding out what most people already knew, that case was fake. But you got to keep in mind, holding people accountable, there were people on the other end of that transaction who swore that case was 10,000% legit. Those were the words that they used. They had 10,000% confidence that was real. I don't have 10,000% confidence in anything. I don't even have 10,000% confidence that I will see the sun rise tomorrow, because I might be dead by then. Like, to be 10,000% certain in something is a scary thought. And those people that were signing off on that case, those were the experts in the hobby, or at least the proclaimed experts. And it took a guy like Rattle to show the world, and when I say the world, I'm talking about this community, that you can't always take everybody at face value, and you have to hold people accountable. And some of the other Pokeytuber beasts lately that are happening right now, you're probably thinking of like what's going on with like Opossum or Great Value Pokerevs, people like that. Like Opossum Bud is holding him accountable, because the problem is when your channel gets super big, a lot of the times for some of this content, it's going to be seen by people who maybe are not as well educated in the nuances of this hobby, or maybe can't read through everybody's bullshit all the time. So if you get a guy like Great Value Pokerev who is just pumping out false information, I think the most recent Opossum Bud video he talked about is, he made a video showing how Scarlet and Violet booster boxes, how the right side of the booster box has all the hits and how the left side doesn't. But he was taking packs from the left side and put them into the right side to like push his narrative. Listen, he showed him opening that booster box, showed him what, sorting out those packs. There's not a lot of people out there are going to slow down that video and double check to make sure that he was actually doing it correctly. So, and then after that information was put out there, it was very clear that the information he put out there was wrong. And you can go in the comments of that video and see what people were writing. And people were thanking him for giving them that information. And they had no clue that the information he gave them was absolute bullshit. And it was false information, and it shouldn't be existed in the first place. But the problem is there was nobody that like hold him accountable. So that is important. So yeah, sometimes Pokeytuber beefs can be like super healthy. The problem is it's the viewers who sometimes there's a lot of like parasocial relationships that go on in Pokemon, especially in YouTube. I'm always amazed at how many people get like super, super, super upset at me and super mad at me and like write really mean, hateful things. And a perfect example of that is Rattle's last video that he made yesterday for his Friday night premiere. He just went through all the Carabooner hater comments he got. There was I think that video ran for an hour and 6 minutes. It means Rattle had an hour and 6 minutes of hater comments. And it's funny that Rattle like highlighted things that I see all the time. Anytime somebody writes a mean comment in my channel, they always start at the same. Hey, I'm a big fan of your channel, but it starts with I'm a big fan of your channel, but, and then it's always like some super mean, hateful comment. And a lot of it is like from parasocial relationships with people that I have never talked to. They've never reached out to me on Instagram. They've never had a voice call with me. They've never been in the Rattle Happy Hour chat. I've never met this person, but yet they know me. And not only do they know me, they like say super mean, super hateful things about me. Like they do know me. And it's just like, whoa. So like, that's some of the beef that maybe like goes on where like the parasocial aspect of it. And then the problem is too, is just some of the Pokeytuber beefs is people feel everyone needs to get along. And sometimes it's just okay for people not to like each other. People might not like to hear that too. It's just like, there are just some people in this hobby that I just don't like. And people don't need to always like me too. And like sometimes personalities just clash. Now, is that beef healthy? For engagement from like a Pokeytuber aspect, it is super, super healthy. If you're looking to drive clicks and you're trying to drive views. Decisiveness in this hobby works. It's a sad, sad reality, but it's the truth. It's a real thing, and it drives clicks. I could see the retention graphs on videos of mine where there was like drama involved. I think about like what happened with Pokevolt. I had some of the craziest analytics on a video I've ever had. The most actively engaged video I'd ever had. I got like over 700 subscribers from one video just because people just couldn't get enough of that drama. Like it's disgusting. It kind of like makes you want to puke in your mouth a little bit, but it's the truth. People love drama. And people always say like punch up. Punching up is a real thing. And there's a lot of people that do that. They punch up, and it works. You think of some really big YouTube channels out there, like, like the Moist Criticals and stuff like that. Moist Critical, a lot of his videos is just him talking about the drama that goes on. And his video gets millions and millions of views. One, he's got a great personality, but like by him talking about this, it's what people want to watch. People love the drama. And you look at some of the thumbnails on some videos that people pump out, and it's just like drama, and people just love it. They love to click on it. And I've talked to like Cool Trainer Ryan about it too. Like anytime he puts Leonhardt in like the title of one of his videos, that video just gets a lot more views. People love the drama. They just do. So is it healthy from a content creation standpoint to get views? Yes. Now, for the community watching, nobody is forcing anybody to click on a video. Nobody. I'm always amazed at how many people like hate the drama, but yet they watch every single video. But more importantly, they keep going back to read the comments. And I can see this. The reason why I can see this is because I can see where my viewer retention drops are happening because in my videos, but more importantly, I can see at what point in the videos the viewer retention drops have. And I kept having people go back to the beginning of the video and just like to read the comments so you can see it. I kept having returning viewers reading the comments. That's fucking weird. Weird. But it's the truth. So the community watching, like the community just is so actively engaged in the drama. It's freaking insane. Like, so is it healthy? Keeping people accountable is super healthy. From a content creation standpoint, sadly, it's super healthy. Now, from like a community mindset, like the overall mental health of the hobby, I'm not going to talk about anybody like I said, nobody forces people to watch these videos. But yet, for some reason, they get the highest engagement. They get the most clicks, the most views. There are channels in the Pokemon hobby that are literally being born like every day, just getting clicks from this shit. It's crazy. And that's just the world we live in today. It's sad. So, that's the truth, though. I mean, people might not like to hear it, but like, I'm telling you, I had people, I don't want to like, I already like squash the beef hopefully with this people, but like, I had people making Instagram posts about me. People I never talked to. Ever. Never. Like, never had a conversation. Didn't have one private message with them. Never had a voice call with them. But like, posting Instagram stories. Calling me like, mean names. Crazy stuff was happening. Like, so, like, for the community, I don't know. Crazy stuff. Like, I had to reach out to people and been like, can we talk about this shit? There's some crazy stuff that happens, I'm telling you. I don't have a perfect answer for you. But, like, all right. Next question. Do you collect or invest in other trading card games? In that case, what trading card games do you collect, invest in, why? I love dead TCGs. You name the dead TCG, if I can get it for a cheap price, I am going to buy it. All right, next question. Huh. Oh, see this? I can barely figure out how to do this. Next question. Garvin N said, would be interested to hear your perspective on the price of Scarlet and Violet booster boxes, or your take on how the price hike isn't going quite as they planned. Pokemon tried raising MSRP. Pokemon Center is sitting at $61.64, but Target Online has them at $114.99. I mean, that's pretty normal. I've always said this before. MSRP for booster boxes is a made-up thing. The only place that exists is on PokemonCenter.com. You never should be paying MSRP for a booster box, especially MSRP on a booster box that has just recently been released. There are way too many options out there where you can pick it up cheaper. And keep in mind, even before 161.64, MSRP prices were like 143 and change. 143 and change was never a reality. Never. So it's fine. It's just things are playing out the way they should on booster box prices, at least for modern stuff. Garen M says, don't be shy, show off your cards. LOL, people who tell you not to are weird. People said I was being cringe showing off my cards. Let them be weird over there. Over here, let's see some cards. Also, I'm curious, like Danzart said, what cards you were comfortable with at $19, if any. Yeah, I kind of already talked about that. Are you stashing things away for 15? Stashing things away for 15 right now. I haven't sent anything at 19 currently. So, Cardboard Investment says, will history repeat itself with Sealed? Will Sword and Shield booster box go up 50x in value someday? Will Modern have the same value spike as Wizard of the Coast boxes? No. Yeah, no. Modern product will go up, but you won't see WotC prices for a lot of this stuff. No, sorry. I mean, even Nintendo stuff, it's tough for some of these booster boxes. Diamond and Pearl, it's tough to get to the WotC prices for some of that. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, it's tough to get to some of those prices. Now, this is the thing. WotC products, super mass produced. I mean, I looked at the most recent Gym. I think it was Gym Heroes. Gym Heroes Unlimited Booster Box. Rusty sold that auction. He opened it up. I think he sold it for like $7,100 for an unlimited Gym Heroes box. $7,100. For how many of those booster boxes existed, for how much of that product is out there for an unlimited product to reach $7,100, that is not a strong Wizard of the Coast set. Like, it's gonna take a long time for like Sword and Shield products to ever get up to $7,000. And then when you start to look at more high end stuff, and you start to look at like first edition base booster boxes selling for greater than $200,000, or you look at like an Expedition box, which is selling for greater than 30, or Aquapolis selling for greater than 25, or you're looking at a Skyridge booster box, which, most recent sales $50,000. I mean, what's it going to take for even like the best performance Sun and Moon set, like Evolving Skies, to ever get to $50,000? Like, I don't ever see it happening. Not to say that these booster boxes aren't going to go up in value, but to get to WotC prices, I don't think so. Even the cheapest WotC booster boxes, which is, again, like your Gym Heroes Unlimited or maybe base set 2, like even those booster boxes in relative are so crazy expensive. Let's see. I think that's it. Hold on. The last one was Dave Medina says, would grading be tax deductible as well? Yes, I think we already answered that. All right. I did it. I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys got to see that community post I put up. It was up for like 3 hours. A lot of people had opportunities to put comments. But, yeah. I kind of want to read the chat, and I want to see what your guys' thoughts were when I was talking about Pokeytuber beefs. Pokeytuber beefs are a thing. Let's see. We got Jumble Fits in the chat. Good to see you, bud. We got Drew, number 1 mod in the game. We got Goo Range 315 says, for his question, says, does PK hate Modern? Listen, doesn't matter what I say about Modern. I could tell you Modern's the greatest thing that ever existed, and people will still tell you I hate Modern. Let's see. Goorang says he lives and breathes Goodwill auctions and zero feedback eBay sellers. Yeah. I just had my first ever package from China get marked as delivered, and it didn't get delivered. And now I'm in the process of like reaching out to the shipping company. I have all these open things. I'm gonna have to reach out to eBay because it showed as delivered at like 12 a.m. That was the time the tracking showed delivered. First of all, got cameras outside my house. So if anybody's thinking about breaking into my house, I got tons of cameras. I can see that nothing was delivered. Nobody stole it off my porch or anything like that. It was just at some warehouse distribution center, and somebody just decided to scan it in as delivered. So now I'm going through this whole rigmarole for that, and it's not fun. But yeah, it was just because, you know me, a lot of sealed Chinese Pokemon product I'm going kind of hard in right now, trying to build up some positions, and it was just one of the things. And it's just like there goes $150 down the tube or down the toilet, but let's hope that I could either have eBay side with me or I don't know. Pokey Snipe says, "Hey PK, PTCG Radio sent out a video today about the 151 set, and it seemed impossible to get your hands on. What are your thoughts on the Pokemon Center lottery? I haven't watched that video, so I don't really know any of that information yet." PK, did you see the pictures of all the Fusion Strike hits that an employee stole from the printing facility and tried to offload at a LGS in Texas? I did not see that, but I believe it. I was Science Guy, do me a favor. if you're in the Rattle Discord, it's the first link below. Can you post some of those photos in the Discord? I'd actually like to see that. Jimmy Blake says, "Hey PK, just sat on a train heading back from Pokemon Internationals in London." Is that, interesting. What's going on? There's Pokemon Internationals is happening right now in London. I didn't even know that. Yeah, see, I didn't even know that was going on right now. Jimmy Blake says the event was amazing, better organization than previous ones he's attended. He doesn't know where people get the energy to do more than one day. That's awesome, man. John said tropical wind, tropical tidal wave, tropical beach, and champions festival. So you're talking all cards like 2010, 2012 timeline. I like it. Ghost Image says, "No, I totally understand. Here for solid opinions on cards no one else is talking about. Appreciate the input. The latest staff regionals have been trainer cards." Keep on going. Garen M said, "PK, I must have commented too late on your post for this live. Your thoughts on Pokemon failed attempt at raise an MSRP when target..." Oh, okay. I already answered that. Noiser PXE says, "I haven't heard PK talk about retail selling booster boxes now." What? What does that comment mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, picking up booster boxes from, like, online? Or are you talking about, like, fake MSRP prices? Pokesnipe says, "I love your channel and your advice has potentially saved me thousands, but you showing cards is where I draw the line. LOL." Yeah. Alright. Scroll down to the end. Listen, guys. The reason why I want to make this live, too, is it's Saturday night at 8:20 p.m. If you're watching this real time or maybe real quick after the fact, this is what I'm going to do. As soon as this live is over, I'm going to hop into the Rattle Discord. It's a Rattle Happy Hour chat. If any of you guys want to talk Pokemon, if you guys want to ask any of the questions I didn't answer in this live, or drink some beers and just have fun, as soon as this is over, I'm going to be in there for like an hour plus drinking beers. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's always interesting. It's always a good time. Always a lot of good people in there. But yeah, guys, as soon as this is over, again, that link to the Rattle Discord is the very first link in the description below. Join, hang out, let's chat. All right, guys. As always, appreciate every single one of you, and I'll catch you on the next video.